In the winter of 2019, I finally achieved the financial independence to move out of my parents' house. It had been a goal I had been working diligently towards, and it was finally within reach. After some searching, I found a charming house to rent, boasting 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, situated approximately a 20-minute drive from my parents' residence. The prospect of having my own space was exhilarating, to say the least. Having my own place meant I could come home after work and unwind in peace. No longer did I have to contend with the ceaseless household chores or the endless cycle of nagging from my parents, where they would point out everything I did wrong or expected me to accomplish. It was a taste of the freedom I had long yearned for. One of the joys of my newfound freedom was the ability to dictate my own schedule. The weekends were a particular delight, as I could sleep in as long as I wished and wake up without any external pressures. I could indulge in relaxation or immerse myself in activities of my choosing. Life was good, and my time was my own. However, the idyllic aura of my newfound freedom was soon shattered by a harrowing incident that occurred on the evening of February 13, 2019. That night, I was comfortably ensconced in my room, absorbed in watching YouTube videos on my phone. It was already late, around 11 p.m., and the world outside had succumbed to the tranquil embrace of nighttime. My tranquility was short-lived, as a series of loud and abrupt knocks suddenly echoed through the stillness of the night. The late hour, the audacity of the intruder, and my solitude combined to send shivers down my spine. Ignoring my instinctual unease, I attempted to divert my attention back to the captivating YouTube video. However, my peace was not to be restored. The relentless knocking persisted, growing louder and more insistent with each passing moment. After 5 interminable minutes, my unease morphed into full-blown anxiety. I reluctantly tore my gaze away from the video, hoping to discern the identity of this unannounced visitor. Peering out of my room's window, I was greeted by an unsettling sight. A towering figure, shrouded in a cloak of impenetrable darkness, stood menacingly on my doorstep. His unwelcome presence, at such a late hour, was enough to turn my apprehension into dread. Unwilling to open the door to a stranger, I steadfastly maintained my position. Little did I know that my reluctance would soon prove to be a prudent decision. The stranger, evidently growing impatient, decided to take matters into his own hands. With an alarming display of strength, he attempted to breach the door, furiously shaking it in a fervent quest to gain entry. The sheer audacity and ferocity of his assault sent shockwaves of fear coursing through my veins. It was then that I reached for the pistol I had kept for self-defense. My heart pounded in my chest as the situation escalated, and I steeled myself for the worst. The intruder, undeterred by my silence, continued his relentless assault on my door. I held my breath and prayed that the reinforced door would hold, but my worst fears came to pass. The intruder, with a jarring crash, shattered the glass on the door and, with a deft hand, unlocked it from within. Time seemed to crawl as the reality of the situation sunk in. My heart raced, and my fingers tightened around the pistol. I knew I had to protect myself. In a frenzied rush, the intruder ascended the stairs, and I could hear his ominous approach. In a heart-stopping confrontation, I came face to face with the intruder. Our eyes locked, and I saw him reach into his pocket. There was no time for hesitation, and I had to act swiftly to protect myself. In a blur of motion, I raised the pistol and fired multiple rounds, aiming for his stomach. The shots rang out in the confined space of my room, and the intruder's agonized screams filled the air as the pain overtook him. The intruder lay on the floor, writhing in pain from the gunshot wounds. The ordeal was far from over, but I had bought myself some time. The police arrived at my residence, but by that time, the intruder had made his escape. They questioned me about the incident, gathering information and statements to piece together the puzzle. However, despite their efforts, the intruder remained at large, his identity still shrouded in mystery. In the wake of this disturbing and unsettling incident, My landlord took decisive steps to fortify the security of my house. The vulnerable door, which had previously featured a large window, was replaced with a sturdier version. The new door was devoid of such a weak point, ensuring the safety of the interior. Additional security measures were implemented, including alarms and cameras, to create a heightened sense of security. My landlord was so determined to keep me as a tenant that he even reduced my monthly rent, hoping to persuade me to stay. While my sense of security was enhanced, the emotional scars of the traumatic experience lingered. Despite the traumatizing encounter, I chose to remain in the neighborhood. It was a safe and quiet community, and I had grown attached to my newfound independence. I continued to live on my own, enjoying the freedom I had worked so hard to attain. However, each night, I would lock my bedroom door, even more mindful of security than before. The memory of that fateful night and the man who had intruded into my life would always loom in the background, a constant reminder of the fragility of the security we often take for granted. I can only hope that the intruder never returns, allowing me to continue savoring the independence that I had so fiercely fought for.